And we're back. Another episode on Unsportsmanlike Conduct. Took a break.
And we're back.
We took a break. I got energy. I was in Chicago. Couldn't podcast. You probably didn't want to podcast.
No, I actually did. I had a lot of stuff I wanted to get off my chest, but in respect to you, I didn't podcast.
You didn't get it off.
I did post some articles on the blog, as I'm sure everyone
I know.
knows.
I'm proud of you. I'm really. You're stepping up your game.
And can I mention that I was the artist behind those photos? Can I just toot my own horn for a little bit? That was in fact me.
So was that done in Photoshop? Was that what was the program that we used to use in, like, was it elementary school or middle school where you could start like using crayons and you start drawing on there? God, do you know the program I'm talking about? It's like a kid's art program.
Hyper Studio?
Yes, Hyper Studio. Wow. That's why you do this show with me. Is because you know exactly what I'm thinking at all times.
Thank you. I know. I mean, it's a weird skill I have. I use it on never mind, I'm not gonna finish that. Yeah, no. So
No. What did you use Hyper Studio on? You obviously still remember the name.
I said my favorite class was computer graphics and computer things, and I don't want to get into that because then I'll get called a nerd, and then it goes down this whole thing where I'm not going to be cool anymore. So I'm just gonna.
Okay. The reason that I thought you didn't want to go down that route is because I figured you probably got in trouble at a younger age for either drawing stick figures with like guns or knives or like naked girls. I thought that was going to be the route it was going to go down, and that's why you didn't want to get.
I do have a great naked girl elementary school story. Probably. I don't want to name the kid's name because I feel bad. I'm not going to throw him under the bus like that. But it wasn't me. It was a kid in my class who. Should I tell it? I mean, it's not sports related in the slightest.
Yeah, so we got plenty of time. We got no schedule today. There's no structure, no schedule. Our time limit is currently when I get too hot because I have no AC. I'm trying to keep the windows closed for the sake of sound quality. So when I get too hot, we'll call it a day. But for now, I'm good. So fire away, Tommy.
Yeah, so there's a website that is the same. It's a website of naked people, and it shares the name of a national monument that's in Washington, D.C. That's a house. I don't want to give this company any free pub, but I'll just leave it at that. And so we were doing a research project in the third grade, and somebody thought to type that name in and then .com and found that there were naked people. So this kid, who we will call Nigel. I don't know why. Nigel, not the smartest kid. He sees this, and instead of closing out immediately, or if he wants to show off, show a couple of your buddies, he decides to go ahead and print the whole page out.
Wow. In color?
I think color printers were too far of it. We weren't at that technology.
Because if it was in color, then not only are you printing a naked picture, but you're wasting ink. You've got other problems. It's taking longer to print. There's more drama building up in the computer lab.
Yeah, and it did take a long time to print, and he printed out multiple pictures.
Do you remember when back when we were in elementary school, the amount of time it would take for a page to print out? You'd hear the printer going back and forth, and that's why I was wondering if it was color. Because imagine, at that age, the inappropriateness of printing out a lewd, nude picture, but at the speed of a color printer back in the 90s.
I mean, it was pretty close. It was one of those things that took a while, and he printed out a bunch of them. So when everyone else was waiting for their, research to get printed, it was just his repeatedly.
Oh, he printed more than one copy.
Yeah, he wanted to print a couple. He printed a couple things that he liked. But, it takes, when there's only one printer and you got 15 kids trying to shoot off the, printouts, and one kid's printing 5. It's
be careful with that terminology while we're on the subject.
It gets littered in between the other ones as well because it was just not a good afternoon for Nigel. But yeah, that's my one story.
For a moment I completely forgot what we were talking about. I was loving it. I just completely forgot. Anyways, I guess that's a good segue to explain that this is our it's a commemorative episode. It's an episode we're definitely not sticking to 5 minutes. We have no planned topics. Lots to talk about, but no planned topics. It's our anniversary. We've been at this for what, 4 years now? Yeah, 4 years now.
Yeah, 4 years, man.
And it's back to school season. Are we going back to school? No. Do I wish we were going back to school? Of course.
Every day of my life.
Every day of my life.
I wake up every day, and I cry at least for 5 minutes every morning.
Every day I wake up and I think, is it already over? I'm 24. Is life already over?
Gosh, man, it might be. It's all downhill from here. I mean, we were up on a pretty high hill.
At this point, Tommy, you know me well. You used to see me come in around 12 o'clock with, my coffee, my sandwich, whatever it may be. But what do I need to start the day with? A bagel. And that's pretty much all I have right now. I get to work, I take care of emails, and I head to the coffee shop and I get myself a poppy seed bagel, and that's normally the highlight of my day right there. And from that point in the day on, it's downhill.
A highlight of my day is listening to the radio in car when I'm in traffic.
Solo, of course.
Yeah, that's by myself always.
You should consider carpooling though. I bet that would spice up.
Oh, absolutely not. No. Terrible idea. Horrible. Never. No idea. Nope.
Anyways, getting back on topic, this is a commemorative episode. It's a back-to-school episode, so we're going to do an old-school-style podcast. Who knows how long it's going to go, what we're going to talk about, but it's going to be some good stuff. This is classic Unsportsmanlike Conduct. Tommy Morris, Trevor Brew, nothing's changed. Everything's changed, but nothing's changed. Think about that, Tommy. Think about that for a second.
My head exploded.
We will talk about sports. I know it's been 6
Yeah, we'll get to the sports.
Yeah, we're definitely going to talk about sports. It's been 6 minutes.
I want to talk about an unsportsmanlike sports thing because I know you have a pretty strong opinion on this. The Washington blank. Can I say it?
Yeah. You go
for it. The Redskins. The Washington Redskins.
I think it's ridiculous. That's how I'm going to start this. It's preposterous. And I want you, and I don't know all the facts here. I'm not going to claim to be an expert.
You should.
On the history of Indians in our nation, okay?
Well,
first of all, I'm gonna start this by saying I'm not a racist, and I don't have anything racist to say during this show. So just to clarify, let's get that out there, okay?
That's it, man.
Just because this show's called Unsportsmanlike Conduct doesn't mean I have anything racist or anything inappropriate to say, okay?
Go on.
Okay. But I don't understand it. The Washington Post right now has gone as far to say is that they're no longer going to use the Redskin name in the paper. Certain broadcaster, I think it was, I don't know if it was Troy Aikman or Joe Thies. It was someone, I forget who the broadcaster was, said that they're no longer, maybe it was Tony Dungy, that guy always has something to say. So they're no longer going to say Redskins on air. Tommy, can you just explain to me, is this just a media blown up thing, or are they actually mad about this? Because you have the Indians, you have the Seminoles, you have, I'm forgetting another team. But they're...
The Blackhawks?
The Blackhawks. It just seems like this came out of nowhere. Why was this not an issue 10 years ago? Why was this not an issue 5 years ago? For as long as the Redskins' name's been around, it was never an issue. I don't understand what triggered this. Why did the media have nothing to talk about? Did some civil rights group have nothing to talk about? How did this happen?
How it happened is our country, the way it is, progressively is becoming more sensitive to everything. And it's getting to the point where if you are not sensitive to every single group that could possibly be conceived as being any sort of group, you are now not cool because you are now racist, something-ist every time. So that's just the way it works now. So I feel like a lot of people are just doing it just because they want people to think that they are good people, if that makes any sense.
I'm looking up the Redskin definition right now because I want to understand. Let's go on Wikipedia. I want to understand, like, is this as derogatory as the N-word for African Americans? Like, what Redskin? Okay, I'm gonna read the Wikipedia definition. Let's get into this a little bit. Redskin is a term for Native. Hold on, I'm not reading to you. Okay, Redskin is a term for Native Americans. Its connotations are a subject of debate. Although the term is defined in current dictionaries of American English as usually offensive, insulting, and taboo, there's also a word called disparaging, which I didn't know if I was going to pronounce correctly, so I skipped over it. But now I realize that someone might go on Wikipedia and realize I skipped it, so I read it. Anyways, the term almost disappeared from common usage during the 1960s, except as a name for sports teams, although the number of teams using the name has been in steady decline. The origin of the term is also debated, some stating that it derives from the use of red color metaphor for race, following European colonization of the Western Hemisphere. Others state it was originally applied to certain tribes that use red pigments to paint their skin. I'm going to finish this paragraph and then we'll let it soak in for a sec. It is argued by sociologist Irving Lewis Allen that slang identifiers for ethnic groups based upon physical characteristics are by nature derogatory, emphasizing the difference between the speaker and the target. Okay, this is getting into a bunch of jargon I don't really care about. This is where I normally tuned out in school. However, Professor Louvel Anderson at the University of Memphis, in his paper Slurring Words, argues that for a word to be a slur, the word must communicate ideas beyond identifying a target group, and that slurs are offensive because the additional data contained in those words differentiates those individuals from otherwise accepted groups. An example of the negative context of the term in popular culture is Western movies of the 1940s to the 1960s, in which Redskins were often portrayed as savage enemies. So there you go. There's a little context. I hope that didn't bore you. I hope we still have someone listening, but I thought that was worthwhile.
Yeah, no, I'm listening. I'm here. I'm with you.
I don't know. I mean, I don't get it. I can look up Seminole. What's it? The Cleveland Indians. What's just because someone painted red?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think that is just as bad. I mean, the word Indian by itself is actually it's an incorrect word. I mean, the way that the word Indian came is because Columbus or whoever thought that he was an Indian, so he just called them all Indians, but they're not. So, I don't know. My whole thing is anything can be considered offensive to anyone. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I could say the sky is blue, and someone somewhere could take that offensively. So, I don't know.
Like right now I'm looking at the Black Hawk definition. It says he was a war leader and a warrior of the South American Indian tribe in what is now the Midwest of the United States. Although he inherited an important historic medicine bundle from his father, he was not a hereditary civil chief. He earned his status as a war chief, leading raiding and war parties as a young man in a band of... Like, what if, he probably slashed a bunch of throats, but they might have... Who knows what they did to people, But the Black Hawk's a team.
Right.
You can look at it's. We don't need to go on with this topic forever, but I don't get why this is an issue now, but it wasn't 15 years ago. And I know you explained what's happened with society, but it baffles me, and I don't think Daniel Snyder's in the wrong for not changing the name. I know talk shows I always hear on ESPN, they always have someone call in of whatever the Redskin tribe is talking about, why they're offended. They get one person to talk about how they're offended. But then I heard there's lots of other native descendants from the Redskin tribe who love the Redskins. So it just, I'm already exhausted by this topic.
Oh, no.
What?
Well, as you know, I'm playing Madden, not really listening.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. You didn't really preface that what's going on right now.
Well, Madden came out, and I'm a huge Madden fan. I hadn't gotten home from work until right now, so naturally I wanted to pop it in. And
just naturally you wanted to slide that thing right in.
Right, just naturally. It's what I normally do. And, it's actually great. It actually looks great. I'll give it my first impression of it is that it is awesome. One of the new features is it'll give you play suggestions, and then it'll explain why it's doing that. And I'm in a 2-minute drill against the Seahawks right now. It said pick this play because they're normally in cover 2 in this situation, but they were not. So I was kind of screwed there for a sec. Cam Newton, no!
So the advice wasn't sound, to say the least.
No, it was really bad advice. Really bad. I might lose this game now. Oh my gosh.
Maybe they give you bad advice because only inferior players use the Madden advice.
Oh, he dropped the ball in the end zone and lost by 5. Oh, that's a horrible feeling. Oh.
That was the game right there.
That was the game. You listened to the end of the game.
Are you playing with the Seahawks?
No, I was playing with the Panthers because apparently when you turn the game on, it makes you be the Panthers against the Seahawks. So I just went with that. Oh,
what are some noticeable differences between last year and this year? At least.
There's a lot, Trev. A lot. I mean, the graphics are a little bit different, and I'm not saying like the graphics with the way the players look like. I'm talking about like what would be like the TV graphic type things are very different. The way you pick plays is very different. A lot more information on the screen when you do the thing. Where you go like the aerial view. You know what I'm talking about? Like right before the play. A lot more information, which is cool. It tells you like about matchups, individual players. I'm a pretty critical gamer.
How much
of the games.
How much of each day would you say you waste playing Madden?
When I was a little kid, I would have told you every waking second, but recently I haven't been. Yeah. No, yeah, I haven't been doing it as much recently, but I played the old one. I would say, once it became basketball season, I tend to nowadays I like the basketball games more.
You know what? You know what makes me
So,
sad? This whole Ed O'Bannon stuff with the NCAA suing them for all these players deserving money for their names is we don't have NCAA football anymore. I think it's devastating.
I think so too. I mean, that was one of my favorite games. My favorite part about that game was the Team Builder website, which I'm sure you're aware of.
I used to enjoy that game more than Madden because it was just completely unrealistic in how many points you could put up on offense. It was out of control, and it was just the craziest game. You could be down by 21 with a minute and a half left in the game. Next thing you know, you're throwing a Hail Mary, and it's going to overtime. You're going 7 overtimes deep, and that's how I would spend my afternoon.
Yeah. Well, I just liked it because of the Team Builder. I made every single. We're getting back to this whole nerd computer thing again. I hate when you do this to me.
What happens is your true colors start being revealed.
Well, I created every single team in it that I played in high school, as well as my high school uniforms and everything. So that I could play.
How many years did you make it through with a team, with like the Team Builder? Or am I confusing that with Dynasty, or is it the same thing? I think I'm getting confused.
No, they're two different things. You can put your Team Builder teams into Dynasty.
Yeah, okay. All right, sorry.
I'd go 5 deep, and then I get bored of it, and then start over.
Yeah, I mean that's where you really start devoting a lot of time.
Yeah, that's when you start to build up a little bit of a smell to you because you've been sitting around for a while.
God, I had this one friend who
the social
used to
scene just
love running the option with Vince Young. Just drove me crazy.
Yeah, that's when you go ahead and punch him square in the face.
You don't go with the linebacker spy. You just punch your friend in the face. You just knock him out cold. Tell him not to do that again.
Yeah, you just punch him right in the face. Speaking of injuries, and we got to get to this because we both went to USC. What do you think happened
with Josh
with
Shaw?
Our boy? Yeah, do you think
this is okay. I got to double check this because by the time this is airing, there'll probably be some more information on it. But when I first read it, I just found it so heartwarming. I almost wanted to almost shed a few tears. I was just so proud of the guy. But then I kind of felt like something was suspicious, not when all this came out today, but when I was reading some comments on some different blogs and some different sports sites last night with different fans. It was like a Florida fan, an Auburn fan, an Ohio State fan. And they're like, oh, from Ohio State, commending USC Josh Shaw. What a great guy, like all the best. And I just kept thinking, I was like, this is not right. There's too many people who are saying too many nice things from places that hate USC. They normally say the most messed up shit about USC. And even before anything came out, I was just like, dude, this is too good to be true, Everyone's all lovey-dovey about USC. Something's wrong here. So when this came out today, I was just like, oh my God, and I'm not saying it's true yet, we don't know. But when do people learn their lessons that you can't lie anymore in today's day and age? You don't get away with it. Who gets away with a lie? And then if you're going to lie, if you're going to make something up, let's not stretch it this far. Let's not make everyone love you and then hate you. So I'm praying that this isn't true because supposedly Josh Shaw is an amazing character, team captain. A lot of people who have known him for a while are coming out and saying they can't see him ever doing something like this, like making this type of thing up. But I don't know, Tommy. I mean, these conflicting stories, it's hard to really think that the good happened that we hope happened. What do you think?
Here's where it's tough because the guy, what was he doing? Was he at a family function where his nephew was unattended by the pool drowning? I don't understand how that whole situation possibly happened. And then is your natural instinct to jump off of a balcony, or is it to yell down first and then jump? I don't know. It seems a little crazy.
I mean, to me. Yeah, I don't want to criticize or it's a sensitive subject because if he's being falsely accused of this, it's really messed up. If he did do something this amazing, it's really messed up to criticize in this way. I guess my other thought is, I guess in the moment, you don't know what you truly would do until it happens to you. But if you're only on the second story, doesn't it seem like you just like you'd have a better chance just running down the stairs rather than like if the chances are jumping off that floor, you're going to hurt yourself where you might not even be able to rescue him even if you get down there quicker.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. Is like, why would you even think to do? But the only reason why you can't really go down the stairs, because if you like, say you have to go run inside first, then down the stairs, run outside, that might be too long, too late.
Yeah, I get. Yeah. You think though that your natural instinct would be to just jump off the? I don't know. The reason this is so hard to speculate and to criticize is because you truly don't know what you do in a situation like this. So it's hard to criticize someone else of what they should have done or second guess. But at the end of the day, I mean, by the time we air this, we're probably going to know everything that happened. But it sounded pretty skeptical today. The fact that Sarkisian said they're vetting it, they're looking into it, and kind of downplayed everything that happened, I'd say they know more than us, and they're trying to figure out how to best handle this when they release it to the media.
Yeah, and I think that's gonna. I mean, I think the biggest thing, and I'll give my dad credit to this, just his idea. Or his thought, I guess. Why even let the kid talk to the media? Something happened to him. Whatever.
But Tommy.
Why?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Continue. I agree with you there.
Like initially, he should have just not said anything. I don't understand why he needs to explain to the media why he got hurt.
I mean, he probably got asked at some point and just had bad support, the wrong people telling him what to say, or no one telling him what to say. I mean. The other thing that's kind of weird right now is supposedly, I don't know if it was his sister or his aunt or someone who was like sticking by his story, and then you have like, is he trying to convince his family just go with the story for my sake, for potentially my NFL sake, for my college sake, to support us, just go with the story, then it starts really getting weird. It's like family members trying to stick to the same story, because this is where it got weird. Was supposedly they like the Good Morning America wanted him on today. The press has been trying to talk to the kid, interview the kid, because they want this full story, and that's the biggest problem. Is that if it indeed is false, then by giving this heroic story, you've made the press want to write all these amazing articles and features on it, and that's the biggest issue.
Yeah.
But I hope it's not true. I don't think there's much else to cover on this.
Wow, new Madden is really good, man.
Yeah, anytime we decide there's nothing left to say, just might as well start talking about Madden again.
No, I'm serious. Like this is where I wanted the game to be. Getting back to the whole nerd thing, EA Sports came out with this game called Head Coach, and it's supposed to be like a strategy game for like football fans. And this is kind of like a mutt in between that and Madden, which is perfect.
You're gonna have to once you really start determining what's the best new feature, you're going to have to dive into it with us.
I would just say all the detail of every play you call, there's a lot more detail to it now.
Yeah, but I'm saying you've only been playing the game for a little bit. There's going to be something that you figure out in the next couple hours,
That's true. I mean, I haven't even dug into franchise mode yet. I mean, what am I doing on here? I'm not even.
Dude, you just sounded like a hardcore loser.
No, it sounded like an athlete. That's what it sounded like.
Okay. Well, I mean, we'll run it back. I mean, you got excited. You got pretty excited.
I got a little excited. I'm not able to sit right now.
Hey, Tommy, are you wearing sweatpants right now?
Well, they're like these, they're like shorts, but they're made out of the same material. Why?
All right, no, never mind. We don't need to go any farther than that.
What does that mean? What's the question?
Don't worry about it. We really don't want to go any farther than that into that topic.
Oh, gross, Trevor.
Anyways, there's something I wanted to talk about. So, reports have been coming out that Kirk Cousins has been undoubtedly playing better than Robert Griffin in the preseason, and that he is a much better fit for Jay Gruden's system. They've been running pro-style offense. They haven't been running the spread. They haven't been running plays for Robert Griffin to get outside the pocket as much or run the ball. But at the same time, Washington pretty much mortgaged their future with those draft picks to the Rams to get Robert Griffin. He's the face of the franchise. Can they possibly insert Kirk Cousins at quarterback in the near future, or is that just completely taboo and that just can't happen, and they're going to have to trade him for some draft picks? Because something's going to have to happen soon.
No, I think you just keep him. You just keep him and you do what Shanahan did. If Robert Griffin starts to suck, you just lie and say that he's hurt. And then that's how you get around that whole issue.
But if you're Jay Gruden, you have no real loyalty to Robert Griffin besides the loyalty that Daniel Snyder has for him. I mean, I get he's your franchise quarterback, but if you have a backup playing far superior than him, at some point these questions are going to arise. And it's the beginning of the season, he has a fresh start, but I think these questions are going to come up a lot sooner than you think. I'm talking about within the first game or two. We can get back to this topic then, but I really think, like, if I'm the Redskins, it's the toughest predicament you have. When you're paying someone, when you've put a lot in their future, you feel like you've got to stick with them, but at the same time, you got to win games. So I legitimately, over the last few years, have watched Kirk Cousins, and I think has a legit chance to be a good quarterback in this league. I wouldn't be surprised if Kirk Cousins is starting by game 4.
Wow. I think you got to give him a little more space. When Robert Griffin initially came out of college, I said that he was going to be a good quarterback, and not because he could run, because the guy actually does have a good arm. But the problem is that he doesn't want to use it. So,
and he has issues reading defenses from a pro-style offense. That's why he likes getting outside the pocket.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can trade him because I think you want him there as a security option. Even say Robert Griffin is playing well, I would still want him there just because the way Robert Griffin plays, he's going to get hurt. So having 2 quarterbacks for them is a good idea, in my opinion. But, yeah. It's tricky because realistically what they should do is try and trade Robert Griffin, but I don't think that's ever going to happen.
That's my point. But I think it's going to happen. I think this predicament is going to happen a lot sooner than most people realize. I know there's already talk of who's the better quarterback in Washington, but I think something's going to happen within the first couple of games where suddenly it's going to be like, oh shit, Kirk Cousins, we need you. That's my thoughts. We can come back to this in a couple games. Another quarterback that I want to get your thoughts on. Blake Bortles supposedly has been killing it in the preseason. Probably all thanks to Lindsey Duke. I knew you probably want to touch on that or touch that.
I would love to touch on that.
Yeah. But before I let you touch on that, I'll give you as much time as you want to really dive deep into it, if you know what I mean.
I'm going to dive deep into this issue.
Yeah, but let me finish.
Here's my thing.
Hey, Tommy, just let me. I didn't ask the question.
I thought.
I just was going to preface it by saying that they had named Chad Henne the starter, and that they had said they wanted him to start all year and Blake Bortles to learn before he took over next year. That was always the plan. But Blake Bortles has been playing surprisingly well in the preseason, and now it's your turn to talk, Tommy.
Well, I mean, I was all prepared to talk about Lindsey Duke, and then you switched.
I'm sorry. I knew you get excited. I know. That's what. Sorry.
Well, I mean, I don't really have much to say, I guess.
Come on. This is your moment.
Here's my thing. Okay, I don't think any rookie should start ever. I understand. What is Bortles now? 23. I think he's like 23 because he's on the older side. I know Manziel's like 21, but no way in hell should he ever start. I don't care how well he plays in the preseason. The thing is, you don't get much out. What are you gonna do? You're gonna put him out there. He's gonna be okay, maybe. But the thing is, people nowadays they judge so harshly on the first impressions that if you go in there and you suck your rookie year, you're just going to be hated for the rest of your career, basically, and it's not fair. So I wouldn't put a guy out there unless I was 100% sure that he's going to be a very good player at the quarterback position. And it's only the quarterback position that's like that. But that's my thought on that. And I don't think he's ready to be, a top 20 quarterback in the league. So I would not put him out there. No, I'd run him out there next year. Give him a year to figure it out.
Tommy, I couldn't agree with you more. But the thing that we're not taking into account is even if this is the Jaguars' plan, it's also a business. And when the fans and the media start clamoring for Blake Bortles and the Jaguars are losing games, the pressure starts getting applied. And there's other factors that come into it. So I completely agree with you. As good as Blake Bortles might be playing, I think there's no better way for a quarterback to start his career than on the bench, learning, not taking brutal hits, not having to deal with the pressures from external pressures from fans and the media and coaches. So I can agree with you more, but I don't know. I think the Jaguars are going to shift course, and I think it's going to be pretty quickly. I know they say they don't want to play him this year, but if Chad Henne really starts stinking it up, I think you're going to see some clamoring for Bortles, and Especially if Lindsey Duke's if Lindsey Duke's sitting at the 50-yard line and she's clamoring for him, there's going to be some more pull, Tommy.
Well, and they put in those pool seats this year.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that. What a we haven't heard about a feature like that since those girls at the Japanese baseball game when the Mariners were playing over there with the beer kegs on their back. Talk about great features.
Yeah, that was a good idea. That was great. Oh man, what a good callback, dude, to bring that back up.
Right? People don't forget, Tommy. Your co-host doesn't forget. That's what you get out of a long-term relationship. You get chemistry like this. I'm a doctor, you're a nurse, I'm a doctor.
Yeah, I forgot. Oh, another thing, I made a bet tonight via Twitter, so if you want to check it out, go to my Twitter account, shamelessly promoting that right now, Real Tommy Morris.
One day we'll get you to tweet from our new Unsportsmanlike account. I think it's coming in the near future. It's
just too hard. It's just so hard, man. It really is.
I'm telling you, technology, one day you'll embrace it. Hootsuite. It automatically tweets from both your accounts.
But I don't want to tweet. Oh, I actually have that. I have that thing, but the thing is I don't want to always tweet from my computer.
No, you can get it on your phone.
What?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and then when you're about to tweet, you just click which one you want it to tweet from or both on the spot.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's how I do it.
All right. That would have been better.
See, now maybe you might adapt. You'll consider.
Oh, Philip, that's a terrible throw, Philip. Oh, Philip. Terrible.
I wouldn't. Come on, Tommy. I wouldn't ask you to get on your computer every time I wanted you to tweet. Come on, you know me better than that.
That's true. I apologize. But no. So I got a little bit of a little back and forth on Twitter today with a Stanford fan, and I put in a very similar wager to the one I did with Yovan Bua. So if USC has a better record at the end of the year than Stanford, I have to switch every single social media avatar, everything, to me and Stanford stuff. And if USC is better record than Stanford, she has to switch everything to her and USC stuff.
See, the only thing I don't get about when you make these bets is I like that you have the audacity to randomly make weird bets with people you don't know. But
hey, people don't know.
wait, let me continue. But I don't understand why you never use odds. Like Stanford's got to have better odds than SC to have a better record. So why not have some type of odds where like she only gets half a shirt, something like that. Like why would you go straight up?
Ah, okay. You're trying to perv a little bit, are you?
I don't mean it like that. Like you could be half a shirt.
Yes, you did. I think you did. I think that's what you meant. You're a good salesman, Trevor. Don't ever let anyone tell you you're not, because that's a tricky little move right there.
Now you're making me out to be the bad guy. Now I'm the bad guy.
Yeah.
Now I'm the bad guy.
Kevorkian over there making these passes. You don't even know this girl. She could be anyone.
She could be anyone, right? Or do you know her? Do you know her, or is this a random Twitter girl?
I know her. I do.
Then the truth comes out.
I do. No, it's not one of my my Twitter groupies.
You have Twitter. Are they over 18? You have Twitter groupers over 18? Groupies? Groupers?
I think so. I don't look at their accounts.
Tommy, have you ever been on a grouper?
Yeah, I've been on a couple. Went horribly.
What, okay, can you explain something to me, because I've never been on a grouper.
So horribly.
I've never been on a grouper. But
all right, well, actually,
what I've heard is that typically it doesn't go right for a number of reasons, and I won't even bring them. I want to hear about your experience first.
Okay, I'll give you a whole bunch of reasons why it doesn't go right. First of all, you don't get to see each other beforehand, so both parties are going into this blind. And for those of you who don't know what it is, it's three guys who are all friends and three girls who are all friends. And you all meet up at a place and you're forced to drink some drinks together. And then you can either, after you have a couple, it's like, do we want to stay with these people, or do we want to get the hell out of here, or do we want to just ignore them and talk to other people at this bar? It's kind of what happens. So here's the issue. Generally, and I'm sure this goes both ways, I'm sure this happens with girls when they're looking at the guys, generally there's one that is head and shoulders more appealing than the other two. And then you get into a whole thing, all right, there's three of us all going after the same girl. How do we settle that? And so what you got to do is beforehand, you got to get some sort of game going to where you're going to rank yourselves 1, 2, 3. I don't know what maybe you play video games or something like that. Or
Oh, you gotta you gotta self rank.
Yeah, you got it. Someone needs to have the right to be the first one to make the effort. You know what I mean? You got it before going into it. You got to say, all right, we're gonna all roll a dice. Whoever gets the highest number gets first choice.
Are the guys ranking each other, or are you allowing the girls to rank you guys?
No, that's a problem because the guys are all going to rank the girls exactly the same every single time. So what's going to happen is all 3 guys are going to go for the girl that's the most appealing. It's going to happen every time.
You know what would be fun? You know what would be an interesting concept is to rank yourself 1, 2, 3, and have the girls rank themselves 1, 2, 3, and then you put them in a hat, and the girl has to pick one. So maybe the 1 goes home with a 3, maybe the 2 goes home with the 1. And that's it. Everyone's assigned, and you have to stick with that one.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. I'm not the best endorser of the program because both times I kid you not, groups of Ivy League girls who looked at me for 3 seconds and could figure out that I was not about reading books and, advancing myself scholastically. So,
How long? Sorry, I didn't catch one part. How long do you think it took them to determine that you weren't a scholar, per se?
I think, well, here's another issue I have. So the drink that you're either allowed to have beer or wine. Those are your only 2 options.
Oh, really? You're not allowed to have hard alcohol.
No. So here's where I kind of blew my cover early. I drank my water. I don't like the beer or the wine, so I gave 1 to each of my buddies, one of mine, so they could have an extra one. I chugged my water and I took out of my pocket a flask and poured myself some tequila into the water glass. I filled it up relatively high, thinking that it would impress them.
So you were the douchebag. You're that douche.
And I went ahead and chugged the whole thing right there.
Wait,
with a smile.
I'm confused on something. Who's making these rules and what makes it so you can't go to the bar and get a hard alcohol drink?
No, you can't. But the thing is, you pay $20 to go. You pay $20 a person, so you each get the money you get back is the 2 drinks. So essentially, you're putting down a deposit for 2 drinks, and that's what you're going to get.
I see. Interesting.
It is interesting.
I have no idea how we started talking about that, but that was good, Tommy.
Yeah. So, are we? We're dwindling down here. I feel like.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it wasn't bad. I just completely lost track of everything that was going on. I was just trying to figure out a better system to put in place. Is there anything else you want to talk about, Tom? Is there any college football? Is there anything that's really just, you've been waiting all week to talk to Trevor about something? Or are you pretty good for now? I mean, I would love, if there's anything else sports-related or unsports-related, get it off your chest. Because we only get to do this once in a while. There's probably no one's listening right now.
I have a great, nowhere near sports-related predicament I got myself into this weekend that I will not share with everyone.
Well, that was useless.
But it's a great story. But
see, if we were on regular radio right now and we were going at tease to commercial break, and then you were actually going to tell a story, you would have gotten an A.
Hey, guess what? Guess where I'm coming with this? I'll share it next week. So next week, tune in for the epic story of Tommy Saturday Night.
Can we? Never mind. Yeah, I'm excited, Tommy. That was great. That was classic.
It involves a lot of deception. There's a trick ending. There's some moving parts. It's a thriller. I
always love when there's moving parts. That always makes me want to come back for more.
Yeah, it's gonna be. It was crazy. It was something I've never experienced before.
All right. So. I think that's enough. I think we're through. 40 solid minutes. I think it was a pretty good 40 minutes. It felt good to go back to the old school. It's unorthodox for online. Everyone tells us, oh, you got to have 3-4 minute podcasts. No one's going to listen to you guys if you don't have short, compelling stuff. Well, you know what? I don't really care. I don't care.
I don't care either. This was just for us, man. This is our anniversary.
This was selfish, and I liked it.
It was.
Yeah. I wish you were still right across from me like the old time, so I could just look into your deep baby blue eyes and ask you what you were doing after the show.
You think that I have blue eyes? Ouch.
The greenish blue, brown.
Okay. Okay.
It's one of the three. I think they're like hazelish green.
It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, it's okay.
They're not brown, right?
They're hazel.
Yeah, that's fine. Baby blue hazel. Eyes change color. Like if they were brown, we would have had a problem. Then we would have had issues. Then suddenly it's like, do I care about our relationship?
Oh, sack fumble! Sack fumble! Oh yeah, touchdown Chargers. Screw you, Buccaneers. I'm sorry, I didn't care about anything you were saying. What were you talking about?
It's unbelievable that you're able to focus on both these things. I'm not saying this in a negative way. It's actually, I find it's a pretty redeeming quality in yourself.
Yeah. Do what I can.
Hey, I know you're playing Madden, but can we just get this straight? You don't have brown eyes, right?
No, I don't. I have hazel eyes.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. You know what I'm saying. I was just giving you a compliment on your eye color. Blue, hazel, green. It's all the same thing as long as they're not brown, because then it's like, well, this guy has no idea what he's talking about. He's done this show with this guy for 4 years, doesn't even know what his eyes look like. Like, did he never, does he not make eye contact with people when he talks? Is he a rude guy?
Well,
does he not care
it's
about
hard for us to make eye
feelings?
contact. It's hard for us to make eye contact because, as I remember correctly, you're 6'5", right? So.
No, that was always a good thing. Since we were relatively the same height, neither of us looked like we weren't tall.
Yeah, see, but that's the same thing. Like, how could I not know your height? You know?
That's different. You're making a point that doesn't relate to the point that was made before the point that was made.
All right.
Let's
I'm just gonna say you never. Back in the days when we used to do TV shows together, you never used to notice when I cut my hair. You know, so.
You told me you didn't cut your hair.
No. Yeah.
All right. I feel like it's time to go, but I also don't want to go because of how much I'm enjoying this. But I do feel like it's time to go. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Time to get out of here.
I'm starting to rhyme. I'm starting not to make sense. We're at 42 minutes. Can we get that tease one more time and then we'll get out of here? Just tease it, Tommy.
Next week there will be a crazy story that I should not be sharing with everyone, but I will because I always do this to myself. Why would I do this? Why?
All right, and we have a benchmark for you. You have to send out 3 tweets on the Unsportsmanlike account before next week.
Or okay.
If I teach you how to use the phone Hootsuite account,
I can do it. I can figure it out.
Okay. All right. Well, you never know. Just
All right. All right.
For Trevor Brew,
I'm Tommy
Morris,
the real Tommy Morris.
What?
Okay.
I
just don't care anymore. No.
All right. We'll be back next week.
All right, too.